So I basically heard that Gatling got nerfed, and I wanted to do a review on this update. So a lot of people have been pretty much saying that it sucks, and I'm like, bruh, how does it suck? It's actually quite balanced now. A lot of people have been looking into coins and levels, and I'm like, kind of valid, but also not really valid. Regardless, this is really my personal take, and I don't think you guys have to agree, so whatever it is, it's up to you guys, man. First, we need to look at what basically got changed this update. So if we pull out the box, we have basically a 300 DPS nerf and a price increase, and a lot of people hated this nerf. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's deserved, honestly. But at the same time, I can understand why people hate it. And like, you really don't have to get everything expensive, or like, it should be really cheaper. Like, the price of the Gatling right now is really, it doesn't deserve it. Honestly, I think, as of what I'm thinking right now, it's kinda just okay. It's a good tower still. I'm pretty sure it's still good for casual play, but people really think that 300 DPS nerf is holding him back when it's not meant to be a very main DPS towers. Honestly, that's the main issue and why it got nerfed. And honestly, we can't really just say increase the price, because that will fall into progression balancing, and progression balancing in TDS sucks already. The grind is already mediocre, some modes are not beatable at all, and the most efficient is gonna take like strategies, and honestly I don't think it's really well deserved to do all that. So that's why people, like, we probably hate this update, because it takes a lot to grind coins and it takes a lot to grind EXP. You grind EXP faster than coins. I think that's the main reason why, and matchmaking sucks basically. That also exists, and we really can't just downplay that assistance of matchmaking. Honestly, when you look at Gatling, it's not really meant, I mean, at this point we can tell it's not meant to be main DPS. And honestly, I think the feature of having a high DPS crowd control is really useful. Like, don't say it's not. It's, for example, Fallen is a slop spam of enemies, which I really do not enjoy, because it literally forces airstrikes, splash damage, but then most splash damage have like, I don't know, fucking pierce limit or something. I have no idea. I have not checked out. And then the thing is, Walketeer sucks, that's for sure. So you can't even use that well. Ranger is the only main DPS, and you might as well just get DPS just to beat all the enemies slop spam. And Fallen Jester is quite annoying in this mode, but it's fine. But you know, you got Gatling by then. It cheeses Fallen Jester. You need to remember, this has infinite range, this has 3 pierce, and high amount of DPS. It also cannot get stunned, and is really boosted by supports. It gets boosted by the damage a lot, the damage buff from DJ or Merc base, whatever you use, and Commander ZOA affects it fully. Compared to like Engineer, it only affects the base Engineer. The base Engineer is only getting affected by DJ and Commander, not the sentries, which makes it like a bit unreliable on supports, but it's still a go-to DPS tower, don't get me wrong. But when we compare to Gatling, you can really see that Gatling is like more supported by boost, and with the fact that you can control to target whatever enemies, you can really just kill the Fallen Jesters in time to cheese Fallen, for example, or you can just kill the Dicks that's going on. For example, aggro feature, right? You can use Gatling to kill the Dicks. It doesn't have to follow the aggro. If not, you can probably focus on like other enemies instead of like the front. Like in hardcore, for example, lead bosses in front, right? And Gatling can't kill, and you have to wait for like Pyro to kill it at the back. Then you can just use Gatling to target the Mega Soul. It's really quite useful when you think about it. So I don't know why people has been thinking, oh, Gatling is over. It's still quite like S tier for casual play. If not, it's probably A tier. Like, I probably will still use it in solo, duo, and that's really all. Trio and quad really depends on how many eco you get. For example, Fallen, don't use it for Fallen quad, please. Fallen quad is so ass, by the way. So honestly, I think Gatling is still in a pretty good position as of now. To further stand on this, at wave 31, Fallen Jets come out and usually support the enemies, right? So usually you probably struggle because of all the boosted enemies, or you start panicking because you either have to use airstrike or special support, or you really just have to kill fast enough, which I understand is quite very ridiculous to do. Like, you get pretty much, especially with bad towers, yeah, you either out DPS the towers in solo or in or duo or whatever, or you really just die, like especially in solos and duos. Quad and trio, I think you guys should be barely able to survive. I mean, I played matchmaking before, I managed to survive, but you know, you can't really trust that matchmaking is consistent all the time. Getting here really cheeses the Fallen Jesters, especially at level 5 or max. so it really makes the game much easier, especially this wave and wave 39 for example. It really does. So Gatling isn't really that bad. To continue on, I'm gonna let wave 39 play out and you guys can see how well Gatling does against a lot of jesters. Even with the fact that I'm constantly firing Gatling and did not even reload enough to kill all the jesters, you realize that it really wipes out a lot of the jesters and makes it really not an issue. Especially for Solo Fallen. You can tell that by then I had everything maxed and everything is all fine because it's Solo Fallen. I mean, Solo Fallen is quite fun to play. Not really. Sword spam is annoying. But with Gatling, it makes it really tolerable. Especially with the fact that you can target the enemies, whatever enemies you want, instead of like the enemies at the front, which is the usual tower's range. You either have to like change the targeting, but Gatling, you do whatever you want with the targeting, especially on FPS mode. So it's like really just forcing you to use your brain. Which is really, I know TDS has low reading comprehension, especially for those asking for strategies, or like they really do not have critical thinking skills. I'm gonna be honest, I'm dissing the community. It's really true. That's why it's like, that's why I'm sometimes like, guys, I don't want to make a strat. It's really that way. So like that's why I tend to not carry people or whatever. But continuing on, that's not really my main point. You can tell that Gatling really slows wave 39 and all the 4 Jester waves quite well. And it still does a lot of DPS. You can tell that this like 1.8k DPS with Pierce. And 600 DPS isn't even that bad, to be honest, for one tower slot. And you can just use it as a sub DPS, you don't have to use it as a main DPS. Which is a good thing. It should 100% stay a sub DPS instead of main DPS, man. Like, that's, I don't know why everyone wants it to be a main DPS boss killer. It's really gonna be very unbalanced. And honestly, this wave 40 is still really quite good. It's really not that bad compared to like some games. I had much closer games before in quad, for example. And this map, okay, you can argue that this map is really good, but then it really isn't the map at this point. You have to realize that I'm choosing the bad map on purpose, not like U-turn, which is a really good map everyone keep using, or Crossroads or Honey Valley. I'm using Sky Islands. And people rarely play on Sky Islands because there's like no loops, for example. There's only like one loop that you can use, or 2 loops you can use. But like compared to Honey Valley or Crossroads, those maps have like one giant ass loop of DPS. Here you barely get a giant ass loop of DPS. You still have to like go through multiple loops, and you can't just bonk you at the front, which is really like making it, a lot of people will just say, oh no, that's why I don't want to pick this map. I know people pick simplicity, and I'm like, I think Gatling should help a lot for simplicity, because look at how I killed the Fallen Jesters in wave 31 and wave 39. It's really quite good. You gotta understand that it really excels a lot. And I haven't even used consumables on the final wave at all. I only use consumables in early game because I'm too bored to do with G-Cow. You can tell that I just did this on the slums or whatever. Like I just wanted to make this video out, and I just wanted, that's why I only have like one footage instead of like multiple footage. But it really doesn't discredit the fact that it's quite useful. And then when you look at the end, you realize I go through all the towers, right? And then you realize, holy shit, Gatling did more damage than Rangers combined. Rangers are like barely reach 100k, 80k, but Gatling did a total of 9k damage. It's still really good. I don't know what's with the downplay on Gatling. It's not that bad, guys. Really, it's not that bad. Gatling is still really good. I think that's all for my rant, and I think you guys should understand that it's really getting tiring to like. I made this video to basically explain the decision and why I think it's good. And honestly, I'm pretty sure it's really balanced as of now. It's not that bad, and it really deserves to stay in this type of like. Okay, maybe nerf back the price, like go back to original price, and that's really all I ask. But other than that, it's a really good nerf. It's not bad. It's really not bad.